What is good, everybody? Charles coming at you guys here with a updated Infernoble deck profile. So I've been actually just waiting for cards to come in the mail to showcase you guys this list, and I just kindly gave up. I'll just use the power of editing to go ahead and put a card here that is missing, which is just Heroic Champion Gandiva. So this list I've been testing pretty exclusively, and I've been really hitting it pretty hard, like really testing a lot, and it's just kind of like the deck, you can, like, at the end of the day, guys, you play the deck the way that you want to play it. Play the list that you want to play. Play the deck gives you the most fun. However, this is, like, the list that I wanted to play. And it's not super heavy samurai, and it's not no wanted in. I feel like the wanted package doesn't do what the deck needs to do, right? So, like, the deck has always had issues, and the issue's always been, like, has always been there, and losing Isolde just didn't take away those existing issues. It just gave us new issues to have to work with. So that's what I thought with this profile and this stuff here in this list that I put into. Angelica is super important, and Angelica has to resolve in order for us to win. So my thought process was playing, and the list I'm playing now is to ensure that you can consistently make Angelica while also consistently protecting Angelica. So just want to get that out there. But also, if you guys enjoy this content, I also want to apologize for the lack of content. Just simply, I've been slammed with work and everything like that. And so, like, I want to get this to you. The new Flame Swordsman stuff was announced today as of recording this video, and I do want to look into it, and I do want to do something with it. I'm going to go ahead and record that I think something maybe can be done with it. I don't know exactly what yet, but I know, like, something. There's got to be something out there that can be done, and I'm going to try and pick up this stuff and try to play and try to intricate it. See if there's any way to put it in here without it, like, being worse than what we already got, you know what I mean? But something about the giant flame swordsman being a Trident is kind of nice, and also being able to, like, cheek out the original flame swordsman and everything is pretty awesome. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the deck profile here. Not try to keep too much of your time. I'll discuss ratios and stuff like that as we go on. So here we go. So to start off with, I am on to 3 Infernoble Knight Ogier. Let's go ahead and do it right here. So Ogier here, guys. In my opinion, Ogier is the best Infernoble Knight normal summon that we've had and still have. And I am playing the Revolution Synchron build, so, like, you want to have as many level 4s as you can that are not tuners. So Ogier is, like, the best. And Ogier plus Renault pretty much guarantees you gear freed. Used to be gear free before your 5th, but now everything has to be, every protection I'm going to refer to is just gear freed or protection before you make Angelica. So that's why I'm maximizing on this. Post side, I always have side 1 out. So, like, arguably you could say 2 is the correct number, but 3, you always want to make sure you see it. The deck is technically has always been a go first deck. Gear freed allows you to, like, kind of mitigate the going second, but the deck has always just been a going first deck. But moving on, we are on to triple Renault, excuse me. I'm still trying to get the names better. Renault. This card is, again, I even in my previous list have always, like, capitalized on 3 Ogier just because, like, Ogier is, like, the next best normal summon next to what you play, and Renault works so well with the Ogier, and Renault works well with the most of the deck now. It's the one bad thing about losing Isolde is that we lost the ability to utilize Connector as a 1-card combo. You can utilize it as a 2-card combo, but Connector always had an issue where Renault is the best extender in the deck. It literally special summons itself, becomes a tuner, and recurs you stuff from Banished or Grave, but it never worked with Connector. Well, now, if you're playing the Battle Boxer stuff and everything, it does work well. But anyway, this is it for, like, the 3 ofs. I don't believe, like, you have to play 3 Ogier. That's a hill I said I'd die on, is I believe 3 Ogier. It's just, in my opinion, you need to play 3 of the best normal summon in your deck, and Ogier is just there. And I actually showed a combo sequence showcasing, like, if you open Ogier plus your Battle Boxer card, because sometimes, like, you open multiple normal summons, it's bad. Well, if you open, like, Ogier plus Battle Boxer, it's not. It's actually probably my favorite combo that the deck can do currently with those 2 cards. It's pretty cool. But moving on to the 1-ofs, 1 Ricardetto, 1 Roland, 1 Turpin, 1 Malgus, 1 Oliver. So not much really can be said here. These are pretty standard. I think Roland's back. You used to add Roland to be a add-off of the Isolde. Rest in peace. But now he is here because he lets you get Angel Ring. I think he's significantly better than Bradamante. Bradamante not being a quick effect. Bradamante not allowing you to equip Angel Ring is what is the point of using Bradamante to equip so that you're already going to be guaranteed to search? Like, you're either going to go for Durandal or you're going to get access to Durandal. So, like, Bradamante is just, like, in my opinion, a worse Roland. Roland being able to get you access to Angel Ring, which insulates your inboard, is really strong, in my opinion. So, not much more can be said. Ricardetto here is actually really not used anymore. I really have him for the follow-up. He's just really used for his banish effect that he opened in hand. So, like, he's just now a really good extender instead of, like, what he used to be, like, an intricate part, which kind of sucks, I guess. But not really much more can be said about Turpin, Malgus, or Oliver. They're the same 3 that you've always played. Level 1 extender, ability to shuffle 3 back and draw, and then another really good extender. But that is it for the Infernobles, and I actually really like this count. I do not like the singleton list, the people who play 1 of each name. I think that's just, I just don't think that's really Infernoble-like. I just think that's literally you're playing Fire Warrior good stuff with just like, it just don't feel Infernoble like to me. But again, that's just my opinion. But this is it. I really have no complaints over this. I know some people might bring up like Ogier conflicting and stuff, but like I want to see Ogier and add access to Renaud because I want to play the game. I don't want to lose to one hand trap, so I want to maximize my chances on either getting access to Gear Free lines with Ogier and Renaud, or opening like Revolution to get access to Crystal Wing lines. So that's pretty much it for there. The honorary Infernoble is Gear Freed. I still think you need to play this at 1. You're crazy if you're not playing this card at all. I think you have to play this card. And 2's, so I used to play it at 2, and 2 was too much. And I thought maybe with the weakening of the deck, you'd want to play more of it. But like you need more extenders and more like counter cards, defensive cards instead of this. So like this card is easily accessible through Ogier and or Angelica. So like 1 is good enough in my opinion. Moving on to the Battle Unboxers. So here we go. 3 Battle Unboxers, Uppercutter and 1 Spar. I think this is the best normal summon that the deck has, and one thing I have to admit that does, one of the big downsides to the list, or to this package, is the Spar, allowing you not to use your battle phase if you happen to lose the dice roll or going second. When you side deck, I highly recommend siding in the Finner package with Rise Heart. Side these 3 out and put in this. But something really cool is going first, you're able to like utilize Spar and like abuse it with like cards like Renaud and or Joyous. You're just able to reuse this card, and it allows you to like fulfill the fulfillment of bodies needed to like make things and like continue to put up an oppressive board. There's not really much to say. I did test out playing one of the counter traps. Yeah, counter traps. They allow you to like, if you open Spar, like maybe you don't want to use Spar, but you're always going to want to just grab Spar. Spar is just pretty cool. Another plus side this card is a 1-card combo. You don't need this card plus any other card to be able to facilitate a board. Any other card you have with this card is just added a bonus and added additional like extension and stuff. Whereas like if you're playing like Sublimation Knight, or if you're playing like Connector, you have to open those cards with some other card there. It is not by themselves, they don't do anything. And I really want to test the new Fire Warrior stuff, the new Flame Swordsman stuff, because I'm thinking maybe you can play 3 of the quick play and one of the normal summonable guys, but I don't know. The fact that Konami made that card have to be normal summon kind of sucks, but anyway, I've been really enjoying this package. It really does. It's just kind of crazy. I like it a lot. Abusing Spar feels like kind of unreal, especially when you summon it for like the 3rd or 4th time in your turn. That's it for them. Moving on to the hand traps. I am rocking triple Ash and then triple Veiler. And the reason I'm playing these 3 hand traps and no Imperm is because I got tired of drawing Imperm during my end phase with Malgus. I would end up drawing and always rip Imperm. So I got tired of it, so I decided to put in Infect Veiler over it, just so like during the end phase when the Malgus draw happens, you just draw into a usable hand trap versus like Imperm that'll sit in your hand and don't do anything. It's not proactive. And especially since our boards are weaker, we need to have those things. 6 hand traps is not a lot, but I'd say there's like 9 flex spots in the deck you have, and 3 of the flex spots have to be used for like tactics and call by, because like I said, the deck is weak enough now, you got to be able to push through something. But I think 6 is okay. I wish I could fit in more and keep it a 40 card list, but it's really struggling right now. And then for the last card is 1 Revolution Synchron. This card is phenomenal. You get to utilize this card to make Crystal Wing, and there's a lot of ways to use this card without just make Crystal Wing. Like you can use this card to like come back and then like use it to synchro for stuff, and then like do like some other stuff. But because it becomes like a level 1 tuner, and like the milling this card produces, like it in tuning, being able to mill a card sometimes come up. Like it doesn't come up often, but sometimes getting like Malgus into rotation or dumping the Turpin already gets you places. But this is just used here to be able to make Crystal Wing before we get to Angelica, which is another layered installation to ensure that we're able to play the game. Yep, not much more to say there. Moving on to the spells. Triple of the most custom card in the deck, which is the Museum. Museum is insane. Hopefully we'll be able to pick up my 25th Centuries here soon, but this card, as long as this card and Angelica exist, the deck is still able to function and play, I think, which is pretty crazy. This card is literally a custom card. It literally adds you any of your pay 12, adds you, then specials from the back row. It's really important now to the combo sequence, because like we need it to end on our board. So like if you see Museum is pretty much always equals Charles the Great. So if you see 2 museums, that's 2 Charles the Greats, etc. I was testing Horn of Elephant, another option to add off of the Angelica, but most of the time, like I said, if you open Museum and you add Horn of Elephant, yeah, you get a pop out of it. But if you just added a second Museum, you'd get another Charles out of it, which of course applies like field presence and another negate. So like I just value getting the second Museum over anything. You could play Camelot. I was testing Camelot in the very early stages, but like just again, like the deck needs to be consistent. The deck needs to open stuff, and even if you do happen to draw like the round table, you don't really want to see the round table. So like you'd rather see other things. But Camelot is definitely something you could play. I have not had a single bad experience with Camelot. It's just it takes up 2 spots, which kind of sucks. But That's it for the field spells. Moving on to Heritage of the Chalice, Rhoda for the entire deck. Not really much more to say here. This can search the field spell. This can search out any of your Noble Arms or Noble Knights. Pretty mandatory, I think, in the list at 3. On to the equip spells. We're on to double Durandal, 1 Almus and 1 Joyous and 1 Angelica's Angel Ring. So you could cut down Durandal, but I think if you're playing the Revolution stuff, you need to have the ability, if you open 1 equip, to be able to show 3. And in this case, if you open 2 equips, you're still able to show 3 and at least get some value off your power tool if you do the Revolution lines. Angelica's Angel Ring, I know people were like kind of bummed because they're like, oh, we can't play this card anymore. If you play Roland, man, you're like, Roland's part of the combo. You're going to get your end board is going to be Charles Gearfried Angel Ring, and Angel Ring is just allows you to not lose to blowout cards such as Dark Ruler, Droplets, and certain things like that to bait out Charles's negate. But other than that, I think this lineup's pretty good. If you were to not play like Power Tool, you could potentially cut down Durandal and maybe play like you'd probably cut down just Durandal. You wouldn't have to play it. You could play a 4 count, but I think if you're playing Power Tool, you need to have 5 just to have like the versatility with the Power Tool reveal. But that is it for the equip spells. Moving on to tunings. Not really much more can be said about tuning. It searches out Revolution Synchron, and it allows you to dump a card, or, mills a card, excuse me. And sometimes it could be anything. Most of the time for me, it's always been Renault, like an extra copy of Renault, which kind of sucks. But every now and then you'll get lucky and you'll hit like Turpin, Malgus. Sometimes you hit Roland, and that just kind of like saves you like from going to the end phase, like playing your normal combo sequence. But this card's really cool. Like I said, I really enjoy what Revolution and stuff does for this deck. And if you guys like don't know, like Revolution like plus any of your level 4s, really, Revolution plus Uppercut or Revolution plus Ogi or Revolution plus Turpin, Revolution gets you to like full combo. And like at the end of the day, Revolution plus level 4 is a Crystal Wing. So I mean, truly, if your hand's unplayable, if you open a level 4 that's not a tuner in Revolution, you at least get to Crystal Wing, which is at least something. Double Tactics and Call By. I think these cards are mandatory. These are the other three flex spots out of the 9 that I was telling you guys about. Normally going second, you can cut these things out because I've truly, I know Tactics is versatile and going first and going second, but I view Tactics for siding pattern purposes as a going first card. So going second, I side out these 3 cards and put in 3 board breakers, such as Evenly and or like Lightning Storms and Harpies, or 3 Kaijus, whatever you might want to do. But I think these are necessary now just simply because Angelica has to resolve. There's no more make Isolde gets hit, fall back to Angelica. There's no more make Angelica hits, fall back to Isolde. There is Angelica has to resolve, so you have to be able to protect it and or get some sort of benefit out of it. And I remember back in the day using this card because the deck was so crazy that you would like get hand trapped, you'd Tactics, look at the hand because you didn't care. But now a lot of times you have to use the effect to draw, which isn't bad. Like, it doesn't make the deck worse, but I mean, like, there's definitely, and that could actually change as time goes on. Maybe currently I'm not seeing the lines to push through it. I'm kind of just like blind, so I'm just using Tactics to draw. They probably are lines and sequencing that if you get hand trapped, you can still look at the hand and still combo through stuff. But anyway, that is it for these. And then moving on to the final spell, of course, is Rhoda. Searches out your entire deck, so why wouldn't you play it? One thing I'd like to talk about real quick is I know some people was the Battle and Boxer engine before I move on to the extra deck. And the number one downside that people are going to bring up about this package is you lose your battle phase if you use Spar's effect. But like my counter argument, and I would actually agree with you. I would agree with you fully. But my counter argument after playing Generator Runic is like Runics lose their battle phase, right? Like so, like the losing the battle phase is not that important. So like if you're going first man and this is your only way to combo, you can break a board apart by like Charles popping and stuff like that, and you're able to like you won't get to like battle, right? But it's not the end of the world. I truly think the pluses this engine gives you versus the drawback is not that big. If Runic can win YCSs and they can lose multiple battle phases, we can still win by losing just one battle phase with Spar. But that's just an opinion. If you don't like it because of that reason, don't play it. But anyway, moving on to the extra deck. So the extra deck is not final, sadly. Like I said, I'm missing one card, but you got to play your NK, your Fire Lion, to be able to win successfully. But we'll go ahead and start here with double Charles the Great, 1 Angelica, double Roland, and Charles. And so this is it for the Infernobles, or the Noble Knight is the next deck. You can't play Arthur anymore. Well, you could, but it'd be no benefit to playing Arthur. We miss Isolde, but the one thing I'd probably change is maybe I put in a second Roland because I thought maybe like getting disrupted or something like that, you'd be able to hard make Roland and make Baron and do stuff, but it does not come up at all. In fact, one thing that has come up is a second Angelica. The first one gets stopped and gets just removed, so you can make a second one and still do something. So. And since you are playing the main deck Roland, it does give you the ability that you can, if you don't want to summon out this, you can still summon out the main deck Roland. Main deck Roland gets sent to the graveyard. It can chum block something, and then like you get an in-phase ad. But that is it for the Infernoble stuff. There's really not much more to talk about. We do miss Isolde, that's for sure, but we will we'll keep moving on without her. I think we're just going on to the standard synchro stuff. So 1 Baron de Fleur, 1 Lavalval Exlord, 1 Stardust Charge, 1 Power Tool, and 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. But we'll just go ahead, part of the Revolution package, might as well play. The one thing I like about this package over like other engines that people are testing is like the Power Tool literally grabs you Durandal. Durandal is part of your engine. Durandal gets you to more engine. So it feels like it fits in the deck. It doesn't feel like a alien thing like Super Heavy Samurai, or it doesn't have like it doesn't feel like it fits in. So at least if you're an old school Infernoble fan, you'd remember the days of resolving Power Tool multiple times and everything. So, but we'll go ahead and discuss Charge Warrior. Charge Warrior is simply here because in testing I found when my Angelica gets stopped, you can extend by using a level 1 extender, whether it be Oliver or Renault. Go up into your Charge Warrior and pick up a card, and then like if depending what you draw, depending what you have, you can combo forward that way. It's just something to make after Angelica gets disrupted, and if you happen to have access to Oliver, which you could especially have access to Oliver because of all the cards you can search and add, if you end up like Angelica gets hit, special Oliver, synchro into this, draw a card, Oliver attach, museum, move up Oliver, there you go, you have a Baron right there. So it's just something to consider. Lavalval Exlord has not really come up too much. It just comes up in like some very powerful hands where you get a lot of freestyle, and you're utilizing cards like Ricardetto when you special summon a level 4 from your hand as a tuner. You get to utilize Oliver to be special summoned from the Spell and Trap Zone as a museum. But it does come up. It's come up a lot more, especially now that we have the options and like nothing like the bodies instead of we used to make Isolde are just still kind of there. But Baron de Fleur, haven't really made her in quite a hot minute. But she's there for you to be able to do it, especially like sometimes since resources are kind of like far and few between. We don't have like the free resources we used to get off of Phoenix Blade. You can move a Charles up after you've already made one, and then you don't have like a free equip spell to equip to him. You can sometimes have like access to Oliver and or Renault as well, and you just make Baron. And your end board's like Charles Gear Free Baron, which is still pretty nice. But moving on to the 1 SP Little Knight, I have found in my testing that at the bare minimum, you can end on Charles and Little Knight really consistently. The only thing that sucks is if they put 2 monsters that are out there that are higher than 16, they just kind of like completely thrash you. And if you have access to Malgus, that's great. That actually saves you a lot of trouble, but you're not always going to have access to Malgus. And the issue I have with Little Knight is you make it, and they force to go battle phase, and then that pretty much forces you to use Charles's effect to pop a card, or Roland's effect in the graveyard, which allows you to pop a card. And if they happen to have any 2 monsters that are bigger than 16 that don't start a chain, like special, normal, and then they just go battle phase, they literally solve two of your disruptions. And that's one thing I don't like about Little Knight. That's why I've been testing cards like Lavalval Extralord and then Gandiva, because they're things I can take those bodies into instead of Little Knight, which are a bigger attack but still provide a disruption. But Little Knight, you can't debate. The card's insane. I honestly, there are some games where you make Little Knight, and as soon as they normal summon activate effect, you use Little Knight's effect and banish that and the monster they summon, and it's game over. Link Spider, this right here is actually just supposed to be Gandiva. I'll use the power of editing to put Gandiva right here. This is just Gandiva. 2 level 4 monsters allows us when we get Warrior locked using the field spell, we can just, make a rank 4 that's not Dempsey, that'll do us something, especially if you already use Dempsey, so like you have access to it. But anyway, 1 Dempsey. Dempsey is part of the combo. It's just, he gets any Fire Warrior. He also dumps 2, which is actually pretty cool. Do keep that in mind that you can use that ability to Foolish Burial as well, to utilize in some sequencing and everything, which is really cool. But for the final card, we just have the Superstar Slayer Typhon. It's just like a last fallback. You're trying to break a board, man, and you end up just breaking most of the board, smack Typhon, and then you finish the board off with Typhon, which is really nice. Then, of course, the Nib token. That is it for the profile, guys. Side deck is up to your personal preference. I'm still working on the side deck. The only thing in the side deck I would recommend playing, and you might want to do it now, especially since it doesn't seem like the card's going anywhere, is picking up Fenrir's and Riseheart, because I do think when going second, you're going second, it is good to side out the Battle Boxer stuff for Fenrir and a Riseheart. It's just better going second. You don't lose your battle phase and stuff like that. But like I said, this list is not final. There's still some tweaks I might make, and I still might pick up the Flame Swordsman stuff to kind of tinker around with it and figure out what I want to do. But for the most part, I really enjoy what the list has done, how it plays. I've only really lost to a few chinky scenarios in my testing, like literally a game 3 where my Menadium opponent summoned out Archlord Christia and I couldn't out it. Like, come on. Like, you draw that out or not, that doesn't make the deck or list bad. So that was lost, and then I literally paid 1,200 in time to a Volcanic player, and then they scattershotted me. I had 2,400 life points left. Paid 12, scattershotted me for 15. Like, just, bad luck, bad scenario. But the deck has performed really phenomenal. It's just, I think Giant Franco said it perfectly, that the deck now requires you to be a better player and a better pilot, because it has it's a lot less forgiving when your opponent disrupts you or interacts with you. So you just got to really be in tune with the deck, and that requires countless hours of testing and playing it so that you understand all the interactions and all the exchanges between cards and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, stay tuned. Like I said, I might do something with the Flame Swordsman stuff. I definitely want to tinker around with generators and stuff like that, especially now that Ib's back. And without further ado, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. This is Charles from Team CLG signing out.